welcome back to another episode of Fox West Texas Sports Unscripted. I'm your host, Casey Buscher, now joined by ESPN's Lindsey Thiry. Thank you so much for joining me.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me, Casey.
So it's been a weird time with no sports, but you have been so busy still with meetings and keeping up with teams and everything that's going on in the off season, even if it might be a longer one. So what's this time been like for you as a reporter?
You know, it's been really wild. It's flown by because the NFL decided to proceed business as usual. We went through free agency in the NFL draft. Now it's like teams are kind of having their what would be typical availability, only it's on Zoom. So we're daily on video conferences with coaches or coordinators and players, and still writing articles and still showing everyone the in-home studio, that for all the videos that we shoot for ESPN.com. But it's actually been really busy, which has been a really nice distraction.
So you've been in the LA market for some time. And so what's that kind of like as a reporter to have that same beat, for so many years, not so many years, but you know what I'm saying.
It's okay. It's okay. It's been a long time. I've been here a long time.
But that's a plus for a reporter, right? You get to know these coaches and players and build relationships with them. You know what's going on. So how is that for you?
Yeah, so it's been great. So I had no idea that I was going to eventually land in LA, so to speak. I've been out here since 2012. First covered USC for many, many years, and then I've been covering the Rams since they returned in 2016. So it's been great to not only build relationships with the Rams over the last 4 seasons, 5 seasons if I can do math, 4 seasons. Math is not my strong suit. But also just to have the familiarity in Los Angeles, because you overlap with so many reporters or different PR people. And then you also like players. So players who I covered at SC are suddenly with the Rams. So that's been really cool too. So to kind of be in one location for a long time as a beat reporter, it's beneficial just from the relationship standpoint. It's been great.
And just being in the LA market, it's so big and there is a lot of teams, and you are mainly with the Rams usually, but to be in such a big market, what is that kind of like media availability wise? Because maybe for some people who are in Ohio or a little bit smaller of markets, it's a little bit different. So what is that like from a media standpoint?
Yeah, it's been really interesting, especially just as the NFL really tries to get going in LA. When I covered USC, it was crazy. It was like Lane Kiffin. They were ranked number 1 that 2012 season and finished 7-6. So it was like to see that was a huge scale. There were so many reporters every day. It's been a little bit different with the Rams. There's fewer beat reporters daily, and a lot of it probably just has to do with geography. The Rams are really kind of located a long ways outside Los Angeles, where like the Dodgers and the Lakers are. Mm-hmm. So from that standpoint, it's been a little bit different. And I know that some reporters who cover teams in smaller markets come and they're like, wow, like we thought there'd be more media.
Yeah.
But it's like the Lakers and the Dodgers are really kind of the kings of Los Angeles, so to speak. So the media presence around the NFL teams hasn't been maybe what you'd expect, but it's definitely growing as the seasons go by.
And so because you have been in LA, what was it kind of like starting out for you along your journey? What was that first opportunity for you after you went to school at Washington?
Yeah, it's been a long haul. So I was an intern at Fox Sports Northwest. And from there, I went while living in my parents' basement after college, was sending out demo reels. And the first phone call I got back, I was like at a point where I'd been sending out reels for a couple months, and I was like getting very down about not getting any calls. I got a random call, I'll never forget, looking down and be like, Great Falls, Montana, what's that? Anyway, I got a call from Great Falls, Montana, and went out and worked for the local ABC affiliate there. So I was a sports and news reporter, and then worked my way up as a weekend anchor, and then worked into like being the weeknight sports anchor. And spent a year and almost 2 years there before I moved from there to Atlanta. But I wouldn't trade that small market experience for anything. It was so great to learn how to do everything on my own, and to learn how to shoot and write and run your prompter and set up your own one-man band shot. Like it weren't for that experience, I definitely wouldn't be where I am today.
Well, what a big jump. You go to Atlanta. I mean, what was that like? Did you feel ready for that next step?
Yeah, it was different. So, I mean, the crazy part is, so I went from like working for the local news to I was a team reporter for the Falcons. So it was great just because it was, you know, everyone at the Falcons was super, super welcoming, and it really was like a high pressure job by any means. Like, it was being a team reporter. So it's, you know, you have access to the players. You don't kind of have to fight to get access, or kind of some of the stuff like it's a little bit trickier. But it was a little bit like, okay, like you can't mess up. You're in Atlanta now. So there was more pressure, but it was like also a situation where like if you messed up, they could kind of reshoot it. So no pressure at all.
So what was that? Would you say Atlanta was kind of like that big break for you and a pivotal moment just in your career to keep climbing?
You know, I don't think so. So I was with the Falcons for a season, and then it was like a seasonal job. And so at the same time, I was doing sidelines for like Georgia Public Broadcasting, which was a great experience. High school football is huge there. So they had all the high school football games. I was doing that. But that wasn't going to be enough to like pay the rent in Atlanta. After the Falcons job was over for the season, like, of course they said you can come back next season, but I was like, well, I don't know what to do in the middle. So I actually moved back home to Seattle, went back to my parents' basement, was sending out stuff again. And then I got a call from what was Scout.com, owned by Fox Sports at the time. And they offered me the job in Los Angeles. So that was kind of like, you know, I'm a West Coast person, like get down to LA and just get grinding. And I've just been grinding ever since to get where I am.
That's incredible. So, so I read that you won the national championship in 2005. You played volleyball at Washington.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I'm on the bench. I mean, I'm really like a minimal role, rolled the bench, but like I worked really hard in practice.
That's amazing. Hey, you made like the starters winner, right? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I made the team, so that was good. Yeah,
exactly.
All my teammates went on to play in the Olympics, so like proud of them to this day.
No, but just like to be a college athlete, that's so big, and speaks volumes to you probably always loving sports your whole life. So what made you want to take this career on? Is it because you've always loved sports and been around sports and was a college athlete? Yeah,
so as a kid, I loved watching the news. Like I watched all the local news stations. I'll always remember this like moment in high school. Every day, one of our teachers would ask me, called it the daily quarter question, and it would be random trivia. And one day he said, "Hey, who can name the 3 nightly news anchors on the world news programs?" And I raised my hand so fast, and I looked around like, how does nobody else know this? And I realized, like, am I the only dork out here watching the news every night? So I always loved the news, and then played sports my whole life. My older sister played sports. My dad was like the coach of my brother's, t-ball, little league team and everything. So I've just always been around sports, and I remember watching like the wide world of sports, and like every couple of years when the Olympics would come up, I loved like the human interest stories about all the Olympians. So it just was kind of became something I'm like, you know what, I want to do that as a career, and it kind of worked out.
So in May 2018, you go to ESPN. So May 2018. So
yeah.
What was that kind of time like, getting that call from Scout.com and then now being here?
Yeah, so in between Scout and ESPN, there was like a couple others. Like I also worked for Fox Sports West, and then the LA Times. This is probably like the most crucial part of like my career that I always kind of emphasize to younger people is, you kind of have this like path in mind, how you're going to get to where you want to go. And mine went nothing like that. So after Scout, the LA Times said, hey, like, we see you know how to do this digital video stuff. Do you want to come do that for us? And I was like, LA Times, like, I need to work for a newspaper. I don't know how to do all that. I don't know how to write. And they're like, no, we can help you with that. Like, we see some potential here. So I took that, and that was like really scary to work. I mean, an amazing brand, an amazing paper, an amazing sports department. But like, why do they want me? But I kind of took that risk and did it. And because I did that, ESPN, I kind of got on their radar with some of my reporting and some of my writing and the ability to like be on camera. And so I got that call from them. And then the other part that I love to add to that story, because this is such a hard business, and I think it's important for people to know, like, it's not always like glamorous and easy.
Yeah.
It's just like a month before ESPN called me, I had an agent at the time at a big agency, and he had called after the first of the year and was like, hey, like, I just can't really find any jobs for you. Like, no one really seems to be that into you. And he was like, and our contract with you is coming up, so we're going to end the relationship. I was like, oh my God, like, Happy New Year. Like,
oh my God.
Like, I'm getting dumped by my agent. And then a month later, ESPN called, so kind of worked out.
Yeah. That's so crazy.
Yeah, so like, just when you think, like, I'm not going anywhere, this couldn't get any worse, you just, like, never know who's out there, like, watching your work and keeping track of what you're doing.
Yeah. Some of the best advice I've ever got is, like, not get too low when you get a bunch of no's, and then not get too high when you get, when you're on kind of the uphill of the journey.
Yeah. And you know what? For a minute, I was getting a little too high because I'd been hired at FS1, and FS1 was taking off. And then I had this cool agent from, like, this flashy agency, and I thought, yes, like, this is it. Like, this is going to go now. And then it was just like, and then after the new year, it, like, crashed. But so happy that ESPN called when they did.
So what's it been like since, working at ESPN is kind of like a dream for a lot of people that want to go into the industry. So when you got that call from ESPN, where you're like, okay, I made it, I feel good, and, like, this is what I've been working for FS1.
It was, like, surreal for a little bit, like, to get the call, to go through the interview process. I'll just, like, never ever forget, that flight to Bristol to meet with everybody and talk with everybody. But I have to tell you, like, since I've been at ESPN, it has been, and I'm not just saying this because maybe my bosses are watching, it has been an awesome company to work for. The amount of just, like, support that they give you, the amount of just from the TV side to the writing side, the editors to the producers, it's just been fantastic. And you do feel the pressure to perform and to deliver, because it's the worldwide leader, and you want to be breaking stories, and you want to be able to, like, hold up your end of the bargain to work for ESPN. But it's been awesome, and it keeps you busy, and they keep you on your toes, but it all really, like, feels worth it. All the work that took to get here, like 10 years in the industry of just grinding and grinding and grinding. Yeah. And the grind doesn't stop. You feel the pressure, work even harder, but to work for a company that like, values your work this much is really awesome.
Absolutely. And so, just talking in the NFL aspect now, so you cover the Rams, and you are covering some Chargers as well. What, you've been virtual for most of this time, throughout the few months, but what are some things you've just been noticing from those two teams?
I think just everybody's willingness and ability to adapt to what's going on. This is so against the nature of how the NFL works, in the sense of, like, those guys are normally at the facility all day long working, and the coaches are going over film together and going through meetings, and players are there, and even through the off season. So for those guys, like, for the players, to talk with them, and it's been really just kind of fun to see them in their living rooms, or, like, oh, hey, like, gotta go close the door, the kids are about to pop in. So it's been really, like, a humanizing situation for the players, for the coaches, for the reporters. So I think the coolest thing to see all through all this is, like, people are making the most of it and, like, rolling with the punches, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. And so what did you think of the NFL draft as being all virtual? We kind of got to see them with their families more, and just, like, being in their home. Also very humanizing as well.
Yeah, I loved it. I'm like, can we just do it like this every year? I was sitting on my couch watching the NFL draft, like, writing, and then just hopping on the Zoom calls after guys were selected. But it was so cool, I thought, to be able to see these guys, these players, like, in their natural element with their family, because as cool as it is when they walk across the stage and you get to meet Roger Goodell and everything, there's something also to be said to see them, like, on their couch, and, like, just that pure emotion that comes out, that maybe sometimes you would kind of swallow that when you're about to go on stage and you're, like, truly, in front of a national audience, where it was just very, very, again, humanizing. And to see, the family, because normally they walk around the table, they hug everybody, and then they're, like, just rushed off. It was just really cool to see those moments, and how emotional it was for the players, for their families, for their friends, everybody who was in the room.
And just for you, putting yourself in, like, the fans' shoes, what are some predictions that you see for this NFL season?